Imagine looking at your bank account right now. The numbers are lower than you hoped. You feel a familiar knot in your stomach. You work hard, you try to save, yet the money always seems to slip away through invisible cracks in your discipline. Why does this keep happening? It is not because you are lazy. It is not because you lack willpower. It is because you are fighting a war against a ghost that lives inside your own skull. Your brain was not built for the modern financial world. It was built for the Paleolithic era, a time when survival meant consuming everything immediately. Have you ever wondered why it is so hard to save for tomorrow? 200,000 years ago, tomorrow was never guaranteed. There were no savings accounts, no stock markets, no index funds. If you found a bush full of sweet, calorie-dense berries, you did not save them for next week. If you left them on the bush, the birds would eat them. If you picked them and stored them, they would rot. The only safe place to store wealth in the ancient world was inside your own body as fat. Your ancestors survived because they consumed every resource the moment they found it. They were the ones who ate the most, grew the strongest, and lived long enough to pass on their genes. To you, this ancient survival mechanism is still running the show today. When you get your paycheck, your primal instincts scream at you to consume it now. Your brain views unspent money the same way it views unpicked berries. It feels like a wasted opportunity that might disappear in the blink of an eye. Are you starting to see why saving feels so deeply unnatural? Psychologists call this phenomenon present bias. Richard Thaler, a Nobel laureate in economics, spent his career studying why humans make terrible financial decisions. He discovered that when you think about your future self, your brain simply does not see you. Neurological scans show that when people imagine themselves 30 years in the future, the brain lights up in the exact same areas used when thinking about a complete stranger. Your Paleolithic brain cannot comprehend a version of you that exists decades from now. Time travel is not a concept a hunter-gatherer needed to understand. So, when you're asked to put money into a retirement account, your ancient instincts rebel. Why would you give away your hard-earned berries to a stranger you have never met? You wouldn't. And that is exactly why you buy the expensive shoes today instead of investing for tomorrow. You are satisfying the immediate hunger of the present self while starving the stranger in the future. Does that make you feel a little less guilty about your recent purchases? But present bias is only half of the trap. The other half is even more dangerous. It is the paralyzing fear of losing what you already have. Think about how you feel when you find a $20 bill on the street. You feel a quick rush of joy, a little spark of luck. Now think about how you feel when you lose a $20 bill. It stings, doesn't it? The frustration lingers for hours, maybe even days. Daniel Kahneman, another groundbreaking psychologist, proved that the pain of losing is psychologically twice as powerful as the pleasure of gaining. He called this loss aversion. If someone offers to flip a coin where heads wins you $150 and tails loses you $100, you will probably say no. Even though the math is in your favor, the fear of the loss overpowers the logic of the gain. In the ancient savannah, loss aversion kept you alive. If you gained an extra day's worth of food, you were simply full. But if you lost a day's worth of food, you might starve to death. The stakes for losing were absolute. Today, this survival instinct actively ruins your financial growth. It is the reason you panic and sell your investments when the market drops. Your brain interprets a red number on a screen as a literal threat to your physical survival. Your heart races, your palms sweat, and your instincts scream at you to run away. You sell at the bottom, locking in your losses, all because your brain thinks a market correction is a tiger hiding in the tall grass. How many times has fear cost you money? Then there is the exhausting issue of status. You buy things you don't need, with money you don't have, to impress people you don't even like. You know it is irrational, but you do it anyway. Why? Because in a tribe of 50 hunter-gatherers, your social status was your only safety net. If you were at the bottom of the social hierarchy, you ate last. If a famine hit, you were the first to starve. If you were cast out of the tribe, you died alone in the wilderness. Displaying status was literally a matter of life and death, Today, you do not live in a tribe of 50 people. You live in a digital village of billions. Modern marketing is weaponized psychology. It targets your primal fears perfectly, constantly showing you people who appear to be higher up the social ladder. When you see your neighbor buy a new luxury car, your ancient alarms go off. Your brain perceives a drop in your relative status. It tells you that you are falling behind, that you might be cast out, that you might not survive. So you take on massive debt to buy the new car, the designer clothes, the oversized house. You trade your actual financial security for the illusion of tribal dominance. You are bankrupting yourself to survive in a jungle that no longer exists. Isn't it exhausting? But there is a way out. You are not a helpless slave to your ancient instincts. The moment you understand how your Paleolithic brain operates, you can start building systems to outsmart it. First, you cannot rely on willpower. Willpower is a modern invention and it is incredibly fragile. Instead, you must use the strategy discovered by researcher Walter Mischel in his famous marshmallow experiments. Mischel found that children who successfully delayed gratification did not do it by staring at the marshmallow and resisting the urge to eat it. They did it by looking away. They changed their environment to remove the temptation entirely. You must do the exact same thing with your money. You have to remove the choice entirely. Set up automatic transfers that pull money into your investments before you ever see it. Hide the berries before your brain knows they have been picked. If the money never hits your checking account, your ancient instincts cannot demand that you spend it. You are essentially tricking your present self into feeding that stranger in the future. Second, you must reframe how you view loss. When the market drops, do not look at your portfolio. Turn off the financial news. Disconnect the emotion from the numbers. Remind yourself that the red line on the screen is not a predator. It is just data on a server. Embrace volatility as the price of admission to long-term wealth, not a threat to your life. And most importantly, you must step off the status treadmill. Recognize that true wealth is not what you see. True wealth is the money you do not spend. It is the cars you do not buy, the diamonds you do not wear, the upgrades you decline. Wealth is the invisible safety net that gives you freedom, not the visible chains of debt that give you status. Your brain will constantly scream at you to flash your feathers, to show the tribe how successful you are. Let it scream. You do not live in a cave anymore. You are playing a different game now, a game where patience always defeats impulse. Imagine looking at your bank account right now. The numbers are exactly where they should be, and that familiar knot in your stomach is finally gone.